with night one of the WWE Draft already in the books from SmackDown. Let's recap what happened, see what I got right, see what I got wrong, and I'm going to tell you what I think of the draft picks that were mentioned. So let's roll that intro and get into it.
Yeah, it's our time to shine. Show that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stock. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too pop. Getting caught with a few thoughts cause I'm too lost. Let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up.
First off, we're going to talk about the champions. How I also predicted they were not going to switch brands. I did say the Logan Paul and Sammy would switch, but they're just keeping all champions on the shows. And with the first pick of the draft, SmackDown took Bianca Belair just like I thought. I didn't think she'd be number one, but she is staying on SmackDown. So like I believe that was the right choice. Best to keep her there. And with the second pick, Raw picked main event Jey Uso. I got this one wrong. I figured he'd go to SmackDown to join the Bloodline storyline they're going to have going on, but I guess they're either get him over there through a trade or let him work both shows through it. But the second pick went to Jey Uso. And for the third pick, we get our first NXT call-up of the night as Carmelo Hayes, as I suspected, was going to get drafted to SmackDown. Think this is a great spot for him. Think he'll do very well on SmackDown. And with the fourth pick, Raw picked Seth freaking Rollins to remain on Monday Night Raw. Another one I kind of picked. I didn't see them breaking up him and Becky. They do like to keep the couples together, so. And with the fifth pick, SmackDown selected Randy Orton. Another one I got wrong. I just think Randy Orton would be better off going to Raw, chasing Damian Priest in the World Heavyweight title. I mean, eventually you see him and Cody having a thing, but that could be way down the line. So, don't like this one too much with Randy Orton staying on SmackDown. And with the sixth picks, Raw took Braun Breaker. Another one I got wrong, but it's just kind of a head scratcher to me. Why would you go through the whole where's Braun going to sign, just to have him in a few months get drafted over to the show he didn't sign with? So, I don't know. I like him on Raw. I think he'll do well on Raw, but the storyline of him wanting to sign just didn't make much sense. And with the seventh pick, SmackDown selects Nia Jax. This was the one I called. I think she's going to be great there on SmackDown. A nice, fresh thing. Raw's women's division's a little top-heavy, so moving Nia over kind of really makes a lot of sense. And with the eighth pick, Raw selected Liv Morgan. Another one I figured was going to happen. I see Liv going to be the one to defeat Becky for the women's title because they didn't want Liv winning that off of some stupid battle royal. They wanted her to be an actual competitor for it. So when Rhea comes back, it's going to be Rhea Liv just like they planned. And with the ninth pick, LA Knight goes to SmackDown. This has to be the biggest head scratcher I've seen yet. Him on SmackDown literally doesn't make much sense. He doesn't have a lot to do there because he's not going to go up against Cody. They're not going to do Ultra Babyface versus Ultra Babyface. Him going to Raw made more sense so he could go after Damian Priest in the World Heavyweight title. But he stays on SmackDown. And with the 10th pick, Ricochet stays on Raw. Like I said, I couldn't have seen this one went either way, but I think SmackDown really did make more sense to him. Not much for him to do on Raw, but they have Ricochet staying on Raw. Next up, with the 11th pick, we got the Bloodline sticking to SmackDown. That's Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga with the wise man Paul Heyman. Again, this was a pretty easy call because this is where that Roman and the Uso versus them and Jacob Fatu storyline is going to go. So it's going to be on SmackDown. Easy call there. And at number 12, we've got Sheamus going to Raw. Another one I said could go either way. I figured it'd be SmackDown, but Raw works for him too. Sheamus is just one of those guys you can put anywhere, and it always makes sense. And with the 13th pick of the draft, AJ Styles stays on SmackDown. Again, another one I called. This is pretty easy. I mean, I think this feud with Cody gets pulled out a little bit farther in Backlash, so keeping him on SmackDown is what makes the most sense. And with the 14th pick, the Alpha Academy stays on Raw. I thought they'd break them up with Maxine and Gable staying on Raw and Otis and Tozawa staying as a tag team on SmackDown, but they're going to keep them all on Raw. Maybe they got some for them. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. And with the 15th pick, Andrade switches brands and goes to SmackDown. Another interesting one where they did the whole where's he going to sign bit just to have him swap things, but This one makes a little more sense because at least maybe he can join the whole LWO Fandasco going on now that Carlito's finally turned on him. So I can at least see in that make a little sense of why he's going to SmackDown. And with the final pick of the draft that was aired on SmackDown, Kiana James comes up from NXT. This was the surprise of the night for me. I love me some Kiana James. That's no secret. I think she's going to do very well on Raw. It's bittersweet I won't get to see her at any more live shows, but Kiana James going to Raw, I like it. Now we look at the supplemental draft picks that were announced on social media after SmackDown. First off, Cedric Alexander and Shanta the Adonis, who I thought were going to end up being free agents, are getting drafted over to SmackDown. I think this could be a very good thing for them. Having a tag team there to go against the likes of New Catch Republic, who I think is going to stay on SmackDown, and any of the others, could be a very, very good thing. We got Baron Corbin also going to SmackDown, so that's the official breakup of the War Dogs. I originally had him going to Raw, but I also have Braun staying on SmackDown, so they were split either way. Hopefully, Baron can find his footing back on the main roster. He did great work in NXT. And for SmackDown's final pick of the night, the OC stays on SmackDown just like I predicted. Again, if they ever need to realign with AJ, they're right there. Technically, I don't think they've ever really broke up, but if they ever need AJ or AJ needs them, it's right there. It's easy storytelling. And now for the Raw side of things, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire going to Raw as I predicted. Hopefully the extra hour gives them more opportunity to actually be used. So I like them going to Raw. And next we got Ivar staying on Raw. I originally had him and Eric and Valhalla going over to SmackDown, but with Valhalla announcing she's pregnant again and Eric still on the men, we have no idea when we'll see those two. So probably keeping Ivar on Raw and letting him run through the mid-card how he's been is probably a good idea. And finally, we have Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark staying on Raw like I predicted. Like I said, they've been working well as a tag team. They're also great singles competitors. So the extra hours of Raw really can help that. And there you have it, a recap of the first night of the WWE Draft. Remember, like, share, subscribe to the video. Hit a comment down below. Tell me what you think. What did you like? What didn't you like about the draft? Who do you think should have went and where? As always, we'll see you again.
Watch out, 'cause I'm here now and I'm staying.